Certain moments in life have the power to shift our core sense of being. Good evening. First, let me say how delighted I am to share the podium with Miss Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth, and President Fred Slaybaugh, a man whose imprint will live on the south side of Fort Worth for years to come. Unlike some of you here tonight, I didn't go to Camp Community as a high schooler. I went as an adult advisor. So if you'll indulge me for a moment, I'd like to ask, if you attended either Camp Anytown or Camp Community, please stand. Thank you. If your children went to camp, please stand. Thank you. If you served as leadership at camp, please stand. If you have sponsored or recruited for camp, please stand. If you've heard about camp through the years, please stand. Is that everybody? That should be everybody in the room, right? So over 20 years ago, I was working as a prevention specialist for Fort Worth ISD when Chuck Hoffman, the longtime camp co-director, approached me about being a part of Camp Anytown. Because I've never met an invitation that I didn't want to say yes to, I said yes. I didn't realize at that time that it would be one of the best yeses in my life. Don't tell my husband I said that. In typical Chuck style, there weren't many details. I knew that I would be at a campsite somewhere in the woods with a group of high schoolers for the week. My role was to be an advisor, facilitate the curriculum, and be the teacher. What I didn't know is that it would put me in a place, on a path that would change my life forever. Camp Anytown became Camp Community, and there I was as a witness and an advisor, but it quickly became clear that I was also a learner. The first day of camp, young men and women, strangers, get off the bus wide-eyed and apprehensive. Throughout the week, I witnessed the delegates tell their personal stories, share their aspirations, as well as express their feelings of fear, hope, and joy. In these conversations, I heard them discuss how they wanted to be treated. On the last day of camp, they left connected, caring, and aware that differences are respected and appreciated. People who might pass each other on the street or in the mall or at school engaged with individuals very different from themselves. The transformation was magical. Through these difficult conversations and their willingness to share pieces of their lives, delegates affirmed their identity and in the process created bonds and communities of support. Even in preparation for this moment, many of those faces of those high schoolers just flooded my memory. I would never be the same. I think of myself as a person with an open heart and an open mind. Camp filled my heart. I came back year after year. Every year I met new people, I learned new things. I became a better listener, a better friend, and a better teacher, as well as a leader. Then my personal life accelerated. In 2010, my husband proposed to me. In 2011, I was married and honeymooning. And in 2012, you guessed it, I was pregnant. 10 years later, in 2022, that 9-year-old boy gave me permission to return to camp. He said, Granny can take care of me. My lens shifted. I now view camp from the perspective of a parent. Do I even need to tell you that in 6 years, that boy will be attending camp? Let me pause here. I'm presenting camp like it's a magical place. Don't get me wrong, it's magical, but it's a struggle. The students struggle. They go back into lives that aren't perfect. But that week in camp gives them some coping skills, relationships, leadership that's supporting them. We tell them that the camp experience is not ending, it's beginning. We know that life isn't perfect, no matter where your zip code is. Delegates go home knowing that they have built a community that will walk with them. The delegate experience would be hard to describe to those who had not attended. Many delegates desire to return as counselors, as advisors. From 1982 to 2022, about 2,500 students have gone to camp. I hear from and know about many who have chosen career paths that build inclusive communities and embody the camp experience. Many of us have heard or were taught that you shouldn't talk about religion or politics. The Multicultural Alliance invites people to talk about deep and sometimes difficult topics. Today, we need places where people who look different and live differently are given safe, inviting spaces to communicate openly, engage vulnerably, and expect better. We need aspirational leaders who are willing to do the hard work of uniting us around an optimistic future. My experience didn't end with Camp Community. As a part of the broader MCA community, I was able to sit at the dinner table with a group of women I knew very little about and participate in a table talk. My mother says the best way to get to know someone is to share a meal with them. And Mama was right. I was challenged and affirmed in unexpected ways. Wanting more, I signed up to participate in an interfaith dialogue. Growing up the daughter of a Baptist preacher didn't always provide me with the opportunity to share with people of different faiths. During my participation in the 6-week session, not only did I learn about the faith traditions of others, but I was able to share my own faith tradition. In all of my program participation with the Multicultural Alliance, my takeaway is this: people say goodbye very differently than they say hello. It happens one person at a time, one conversation at a time. Thank you.